Two of the artists that have openings tonight, Sadie and Sheldon. She is our resident artist. And she's here working with us for about 6 weeks. And then Stan Irvin. So right now you're in Sadie Sheldon's exhibition. And then Stan Irvin, who is in the Wyatt Gallery, his show is opening tonight as well. And then in the McKelvey Gallery, we have Rebecca Bridges-Price. Her show is continuing. That show opened last month, so please make sure to visit all the exhibits. And of course, the Members Gallery downstairs in the gift shop. Exit through the gift shop. But before I give it over to the lovely Katie Arnold, I would like to bring up here someone who is very dear to us, who is departing Rockport, who has worked with us since we were in the Baker Law Building a little over 2 years ago. Carrie? This is Carrie Salemi. She has been greeting you when you walk into the gift shop in this building since December, pretty much December of 2022, right? Since we opened. And before that, she worked a little bit in the gift shop at the Baker Law Building. She is leaving us and moving to the great state of Colorado. And of course, we want to give her a big Texas send-off. So I'd like for you to join me in For She's a Jolly Good Fellow. Are you ready? She's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny. Nobody can deny, which nobody can deny. For she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny. How about a round of applause? That tune's been around since the 1700s, I believe, and it's worked since then, and it continues to work today. I think Carrie would like to say a few words.
As you guys know, I'm not a loud talker. RCA's been my life, off and on for 5 years now. I love this place, and I hope everybody loves it as much as I do. And I bring the enthusiasm to the place, which is Elena here? Is she here?
She's not.
Yeah. Anyway, the staff, let's start there. One time Vanessa asked me when she first videoed me a couple of years ago, what I liked about the RCA, because she wanted to put it on the website. And I said, the staff and the people who come visit. Because everybody is just so wonderful. I could go individually on every one of the people who are currently working here, but I gotta tell you, they are top notch. And I'm gonna miss them so much. And I'm gonna miss all my regulars and my docents and everybody. I mean, it's just such a wonderful place. I love the art community. And I find out that I'm going to Pueblo, Colorado. I've never lived there before. I have a brochure downstairs I brought in case anybody wants to see this right now. It's an art town. There's 4 different art districts. There's a great big art center and event center. So I think I've kind of found my other people in another state. So that's what I'm hoping for. And I'm sure I'll be getting involved in the arts out there. But I want to say heartfelt thank you to every single person who's here, who has supported me through the years, has supported my art, supported my silly personality, and my constant talking, because if you have to wait for me to finish talking, you'll never get anything. So, but thank you very much. I'm gonna miss you guys a lot, and I will be back to visit.
Thank you, Carrie. Now to the words of the lovely Katie Arnold.
Thank you guys for being here. I would like to welcome you again tonight to the opening of Unison Fugues by Sadie Sheldon and In the Flow, Stan Irvin in the Wyatt Gallery. Sadie's show will be on view through November 9th. We'll be having a closing reception on November 9th, so mark your calendars. And Stan's show will be on view through November 17th. So we hope to see you guys back next second Saturday. I have some questions for the both of you. So, Sadie, I've been calling these paintings Clearly they're textiles. I want to know how you get from point A. I want to know what point A is, because I want to know how both of you get from point A to the completed works.
Yeah, so point A for me really starts with the box of objects over here. And I started making those out of this impulse to kind of create narrative and story from the things that we leave behind. And how do we value the things that come in and out of our life? And I was just asking a lot of questions about making meaning out of mundane, forgotten objects. And then those kind of spiraled into creating this divination system out of the cards, where then I invite people to roll a series of dice, and based on their roll, they will be directed to one of 64 cards. And then we have kind of an intimate reading based on the meaning of the card and the questions they might have in their life. And then I translate those into these textile, mixed media paintings based on our conversation. So that's kind of the linear process of it, and I can't really explain how the textile paintings came to be other than my love of materials and kind of experimenting with unconventional combinations and kind of commemorating these ephemeral moments with strangers.
You spoke about your love for materials, and I think you have that in common with Stan. He's totally enamored with clay, and we see that in your exhibit just through the titles. So if you could tell us about your exhibit.
Not point A.
Not point A.
No.
Point A is even clay.
That's a fair question. I think point A wasn't really a point. It was more of my initial experience with working with clay. I started out not as a potter, I consider myself a potter, but I think I've always had a kind of a special relationship with clay. It just speaks to me. And so everything grew out of that, and I've been working in clay for a lot of years. I won't say how many, but you can probably guess. And I want to thank Luis and Katie too. I mean, this is off the point A topic, for giving me the opportunity to do this show, because I think this show kind of brings a lot of things into focus, and that I've been working and thinking about all my career, and I just appreciate that chance to show.
Thank you for sharing it with us.
Sure. Yeah. Point A.
Okay, so if we're going to talk about point A in your work, your title's In the Flow, which is comes from a book by a Russian author whose name I can't pronounce.
Well, I can't either, but I'm going to try. Yeah, In the Flow is sort of this reference to Maali, Maali's work. Did I do say that okay? And he was a research psychologist, and along with others, he researched what it was exactly that causes or the circumstances around which people do their best work. And typically, or characteristically, it involves having an objective, having a challenge, I should say, that is, on one hand, within your range of doability. In other words, it's not an impossible challenge. And on the other hand, nevertheless, a challenge. So I feel like this show really challenged me to bring together a lot of ideas, as I mentioned, that I've worked with, none of which I haven't technique-wise done before, but I've kind of brought it together in a way that I think is a cohesive body of work. And so.
Yeah, It is a cohesive body of work,
Yeah.
and I think that all artists, I know there's a million of us in here, when we're in the studio, we hoping to enter a state of flow while creating work. And I'm curious if so in a state of flow, you're going for an objective. Are there ever any surprises in your work, Sadie, when you're in that state?
Yeah, I'm surprised all the time, especially in making these larger stone portraits because they're on the floor in the entire time I make them. I paint them on the wall, but then I cut them up and I kind of rearrange them on the floor with all kinds of disparate materials, like the shirt that I'm wearing, the chip bag that I ate out of that day. Like anything is fair game, so it's always a surprise, and it's kind of this sequence of trying to solve this puzzle of my own making that's changing every second. And it's really been a gift to see all of the work on the wall in this space. So I just want to piggyback off of what Stan said, to thank everybody here for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to sort of see it in a new way. Because this in itself is also a really big surprise.
My last question for you guys is, Stan, how has the community of Rockport influenced you and your work?
Well, when I think about that, what immediately comes to mind is all the pieces I've done that have nature incorporated into, like the investments with the birds, the Rookwood series, and egrets, and pelicans, and the live oaks, the boats, some of which are in the gift shop now. All of that is sort of a response to things that I enjoy looking at and appreciate and value. But another, less of an environmental influence and more of a social influence is the people there. I think of all the artists at Winway Gallery. They're so supportive and helpful. Anita Deeble, I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with her and Carol Kupnik and Lisa Baird. Just wonderful conversations that, about our challenges as artists, what motivates us, what inspires us, and certainly not the least of which, Greg Ruth. He has been such a good friend. And sorry.
All of the connections that you're talking about, I think a lot of us can relate to.
Yeah, and I put all of that under the category of coastal influence.
Okay.
It's not just the images.
Sadie, do you think that the community of Rockport is having an influence on your work, or that it will use it?
Yeah, definitely. Y'all are amazing, and this has been the warmest welcome. I've only been here for 2 weeks, but it's so cool and refreshing to be in a town where people talk to each other and want to share and know your story and tell you theirs. Sometimes I use my studio and just kind of make a lap through the building or in the ceramics studio so I can have an exchange and laugh with people, and it's just been so generative. And I'm here for 4 more weeks, and I'm sure it's going to be just, I can't imagine what will come into my studio practice and the kinds of things that I'll learn and share with y'all. So thank you seriously for having me and for being here. Thank you.
I would like to open it up to questions from the audience for either of our artists. Lisa?
I'm curious how you, so you work on the ground, and then how do you stretch these things? Do you put them, how do you do that?
Yeah, for that part of the process, this person here, Chris Gibbons, built all of my frames. And really labored over helping me stretch everything and have it ready for the show. So, nothing happens alone. And I thank you so much.
So, can you tell us about the color charts that you have in several of the paintings?
Yeah, so if you'll notice on these collages on the wall, a lot of the materials that I'm mixing in are single-use plastics from like food bags, chip bags, and they all have these color processing strips. And so I'm thinking about bringing them back into the painting as this screen that you kind of look beyond to see these kind of fleeting, dreamlike, powerful moments. So it's kind of the contrast of this like everyday imagery that we're inundated with, that we don't even know we're seeing on every product that we're consuming, and kind of seeing past that to the possibility of these moments that were intimate conversations I had with strangers.
It's beautiful.
Okay. Oh, Greg?
Then you've got functional work, knitted things, but you also have some sculptural work in there. How did you marry those two forms or ideas together?
That's a plan.
Well, it seemed like kind of a natural process. I mean, to me, it's all sculpture. Even though I started out as a potter, vessel maker, I always wanted to go beyond just functionality. I mean, what's the point of that? Just making something that functions. Maybe that's a springboard to start with, but I wanted to take it into another realm and make it something that had more content. And so from there, it seemed kind of natural to do sculpture. I mean, a lot of the techniques and processes for making pots, throwing on the wheel, wall building, slab construction. You can make sculpture just as well as you can make a vessel. So, and then for a long time, 38 years I spent teaching. And I had to teach a lot of courses that in clay, related to clay, sculpture and figurative sculpture, and as well as ceramics. And so I had to learn techniques, and I had to teach people how to do figurative sculpture. So it was kind of a natural thing to marry, putting sculptural, figurative forms onto vessels in one way or the other. And then from there, it's quite a natural step to do pure sculpture. So a lot of the same techniques.
That's a plan.
I thought you were going to ask a really hard question. and actually, I was thinking,
Does anybody have any really hard questions? For those of you who are too shy to ask those questions, I'm gonna hand the evening back over to all of us. And please enjoy, talk to the artists, talk to each other, and thank you guys.